I left Idaho Falls at 6:15 a.m., aiming for the trail with the first clean light. The drive down US 26 to Swan Valley was quiet. I chose Palisades Creek, intending to push past the lower lake to the upper one. I packed the basics, including a headlamp, filter, map, and bear spray. By 10:30 a.m., I reached Lower Palisades Lake. I spoke briefly with a couple who had heard footsteps in the brush circling their camp the night before, but they dismissed it as an animal. Moving on, I noticed orange flagging, not Forest Service standard, tied to willows. The tape looked fresh and crisp. Just before noon, I reached a fork not on my map. The main trail went straight. A narrower one dropped left. I saw fresh horse prints leading up the smaller trail, along with new blue flagging. I took the left cutoff. The cutoff thinned. The blue tape was tied low at knee height, little flashes of color in the green shadow. I suddenly felt an intense awareness of my back, like someone had stepped behind me. I listened, holding my breath. I heard the first sound, running steps in the brush, somewhere behind and uphill. Not heavy, not deer. The sound stopped. When I started walking again, the footsteps returned. Same cadence, same distance, matching my pace. I realized something is following me. I saw churned ground ahead, with tight, doubling back hoof prints, which felt wrong for a loose horse. The next blue ribbon hung low, brushing my thigh. I spun and blew bear spray into the trees. What answered was a sound I have no good word for, like an animal cough and a person clearing their throat, but the human part was wrong. The brush shuddered. In a wet, flat spot among the hoof prints, I saw a single bar of a footprint, a pad, and the suggestion of toes that was too long for any bare human foot, set at a wrong angle. I looked back and saw for 1 second something pale, a face or the idea of one, at torso height behind young branches. It was gone when I blinked. As I turned back, a voice called my name from ahead. Caleb. It was soft but clear. I hadn't told anyone my name. The voice came again, closer, the exact same tone and rhythm, like a recording, spoken like someone pronouncing letters they'd only seen on a page. My own voice spoke next. Hold up. From 10 feet to my right. I didn't look. I ran. Crossing the creek, my hand landed in a smear that looked like rust, a handprint, thin, even, and not dried. The smell was wet dog and hot hair. Near dark, a figure stepped onto the path ahead. It had the outline of a man, but its brown jacket hung wrong, and its face was facing me, but not looking at me. The alignment was off. I sprayed it directly. The thing made no human sound. It went down in a folding way and slid backward, gone in a breath. Later, as I was hiding in a ruined cabin, a small stone trotted across the packed dirt and came to rest against my boot. At the window, I saw two hands grip the sill and slide down the outside wall with a dry whisper. Finally, I found a maintained trail and ran into two outfitters on horseback. They confirmed they had heard something dogging us up higher. In the parking lot, as I drove away, the coyote called again, but it broke and stumbled, turning into the beginning of a laugh before stopping short. I was in the San Rafael swell with my cousin Nate and his friend Mara for a 4-night loop. The first night, I woke to small rocks ticking against others, with a rhythm that felt like a footfall, coming up out of the wash and stopping 15 yards short of camp. In the morning, on the damp sand, we found flat ovals that didn't belong to us, cutting across our prints. Shallow, barefoot impressions with a short stride. The second night, out in the wash, a voice said my name, Evan, but crushed and flattened. Then it tried Nate's, Na-tuh. I shined my headlamp and caught 2 points that reflected and then dropped. Dull, yellow, and set too far apart. That day, we found an arranged structure of singed twigs in the shape of a body, which Nate immediately kicked apart. Returning to camp, we found scuffed spots at the base of cottonwoods where something had knelt and stood, and matted hair on a twig with a smell like wet iron and old dog. The third night, I took the first watch. Sometime after midnight, something clicked its teeth behind the alcove wall. I later woke to the sound of someone easing my tent zipper down, tooth by tooth. The pressure stilled when I put my fingers on the track, and then the zipper closed with a soft click. I woke Nate. He threw his lamp up, and the beam caught something hunched behind a juniper that uncoiled up and up until it was taller than it should have been. It dropped to all fours and went sideways. At dawn, we found a deliberate double circle of tracks around our tents. On top of one of the bare cans was a braid of yucca fiber with a single long human hair pushed through it. It was an object made by hands in the dark. We packed and headed straight for the road. Along the way, the barefoot prints had stepped inside the edges of ours, heel over heel, to show they were completely inside whatever game this was. At the truck, the water jug cap was off and set beside the jug. I decided we had to leave then, but we paused for one more night. It was the wrong decision. That night, the wind shifted and the smell came. Iron, musk, wet hide. The coyotes went silent. The voice came again from the truck. Avun, not Mara. I realized it was using Mara's worried tone. I lit the lamp. A shape crouched under the tailgate, unfolded until it was standing as high as the bed rail. Its face had a wetness like cartilage. It said my name, Evan. Again, better, closer. We ran to the truck. The figure came up to the driver's side and set the heel of its palm on the glass. I started the engine and drove. The figure kept pace for 4 steps, then peeled off and let us go. Driving out, in the rear view I saw the long, low shape cross behind us, and the brake light threw it red. The hide on its head looked like light diffusing through thin places. We drove until the phones woke up, and the pavement noise was regular, having been accepted back by the world with lines painted on it. I summarize the conclusion. We don't go back to that bend in that wash west of Tomich. There is a place there that knows us by name, and we owe it the courtesy of never hearing ours again.